Welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. And Congressman Adam Smith of the great state of Washington, representing the 9th District of that state, is on the line with us. He is the ranking member for the Armed Services Committee in the House of Representatives. Congressman Smith, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate the chance.
I'm curious, as the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee, I'm curious about your thoughts on, what's going on in the Middle East and the domestic politics of it. How Mitt Romney has tried to turn this into something to beat up President Obama with, and it looks to me like the only adult in the room is Barack Obama. But I'm curious your thoughts on this.
That's been absolutely clear since this began, and it's just a whole series of very disturbing things with the prospect of Mitt Romney being commander-in-chief, if this is how he's going to handle situations like this. His initial statement, came out very prematurely, was completely wrong on its facts, and he never backed down from it. But even more than that, the overall rhetoric that Mr. Romney has used throughout this campaign, basically his foreign policy is going to be the United States ought to force by its military, I guess, or by, sheer will, our way on the whole rest of the world. He actually had this very disturbing quote where he said, President Obama likes to say that there's a lot of countries out there that we have a lot of common in, a lot in common with. And Mitt Romney said, well, I disagree with that. So I think his vision is that America basically forces the rest of the world to do what we want it to do, and that's just not the way the world works. It's very dangerous. Mm-hmm. How does he propose to do that? So beyond just sort of the fumbling around of not being able to have a clear message that matches with the facts, he's a neocon. He makes George W. Bush look like a pacifist at this point with some of the language that he's throwing out there about how he would confront Syria and Iran and even China and Russia, for that matter. I think it's a dangerous foreign policy in addition to an incoherent one.
Your thoughts as the ranking member on the Armed Services Committee on what is going on in the Middle East and how we should respond to this? Could it be that it's time for, or perhaps there should have been after the Arab Spring? I know it would have been very difficult to get through Congress with the Republicans in charge, but should there have been some small version of a Marshall Plan to give these people some sense that life is getting better now that they've overthrown their dictators?
Well, we've done some of that. We do have some aid programs, but they're very, very small at this point, I'm afraid. So, I think, yes, we have to try and engage. And we also have to be mindful of the fact that that part of the world does not trust us. Our credibility with those folks is very low. So we have to move very cautiously and very slowly. And part of it is, and I know, Mitt Romney would hate this phrase, but we have to have some humility about that part of the world. It's a dangerous place right now, but the U.S. can't simply decide they're going to fix it. And whether it's, spending a lot of money or sending in the military, we can't automatically create civil governments in other parts of the world, particularly in the Middle East, where, they have some very big problems, both economic and in terms of governance, and where they don't trust us, where we don't have a very strong relationship because historically we backed a lot of the very dictators that they were trying to overthrow. So it's a place where we're going to have to recognize the dangers and be cautious and do what we can to move towards greater stability, and also try to get some international partners to help us with that. The U.S. alone is not going to be able to fix it. But if there are other nations in the world that have a stake in peace and stability, and there are, we should look for ways to partner with them to be helpful to the Middle East and North Africa.
We're talking with Congressman Adam Smith, a Democrat from Washington's 9th District, U.S. member of the House of Representatives, ranking member of the Armed Services Committee. About the campaign here, BarackObama.com, of course, the website for the Obama campaign. And to that, if you don't mind talking about politics here for a minute, Congressman, I'm curious. Mitt Romney has literally, $1 billion behind him that has been raised from. We just had Senator Sanders on. He said they've identified now either 23 or 26. I forget which was the number. Billionaires who have committed at least $250,000 each to the Romney campaign or to the super PACs that are attacking the president. It looks like this will be literally the first presidential election in the history of the United States in which an incumbent president is going to be outspent by a challenger. Not to mention, all the right-wing infrastructure, Fox News and the right-wing talk shows and everything else. How does that all play out? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a reminder that even though President Obama right now is looking good, I mean, I think clearly the Democratic convention went better than the Republican convention in terms of delivering a cohesive message that the American people could relate to, which was basically middle-class opportunity and our commitment to trying to make that happen. We're in good shape in that regard, but the money that's going to be spent in these last, what are we down to now, about seven and a half weeks, could shift that. Now, the good news is that President Obama does have a lot of money. He doesn't have as much as they do, to be sure. But, he's got a lot of money, a lot of grassroots organizations. Basically, you got to go out there and fight it out. But it also points out to the desperate need for campaign finance reform and a constitutional amendment to correct what I think are the mistakes of the Supreme Court. Corporations are not people, and money should not be equivalent to speech. And those rulings have really handicapped our ability to stop our elections simply going to the highest bidder. And I know, Senator Sanders has been a leader on that.
Yes.
Many others in the House have as well. That's a battle we're going to have to keep fighting.
Yeah, isn't that, frankly, hasn't the Citizens United and several rulings before that, I mean, First National Bank versus Bilotti, Buckley versus Vallejo, and others, aren't they really paving the way toward oligarchy, a real distortion of small d democracy and a small r republic?
Absolutely, and I mean, they've even gone so far as to strike down, Arizona had a great public financing law. They had statewide elections where, candidates actually didn't have to raise any money. They could actually, focus on issues, focus on, telling voters their message. And the Supreme Court struck down that law based on those opinions that you just mentioned. So it's a bad situation. But look, I mean, you got to play. You got to play on the field that's in front of you. And yes, Republicans are going to have a lot of money, but I think the president's the better candidate. Clearly, he's got the better message, both in terms of a domestic economic agenda, and then as we saw this week, when foreign policy crops up, just like he showed during a crisis in 2008. He knows how to handle that crisis much better than certainly John McCain did 4 years ago or Mitt Romney does now. And quite frankly, for the first time in my memory, Democrats have an advantage on national security questions when you ask the American people who they trust more. So I think we need to play up that advantage for all it's worth and show that the president is a reasonable steward of our national security interests, and we have no idea what we're going to get from Mitt Romney.
Why do you say no idea? Because he's been on so many sides of so many issues for the last 20 years?
Well, no, because his number one, he has no foreign policy experience, no foreign policy record. And then you look at Afghanistan. What's he going to do in Afghanistan? He didn't say anything about it at the convention. He has no policy.
Well, he was in France during the Vietnam War.
That is true. He's vaguely upset about what's going on in the Middle East and North Africa, but he has presented no plan. He's upset that we're, quote, not doing more in Syria, whatever that might mean, but he commits to no specific plan. And then, frankly, one of my concerns is, given the belligerence of his rhetoric about how it's shameful that America isn't leading, that President Obama isn't putting us out front. I mean, how many more wars does he want to get us into to put America out front? I think it's both unknown and what we do know about it. It's quite frightening. So I'm hoping that message will drive home and people will see it, and the president's lead in the polls will continue straight through November 6th.
Yeah, I hope so too, and if so, it'll be like the California elections with Meg Whitman and Carly Fiorina. It'll be a rare example of people power triumphing over money power, and that would be a fine thing to see.
Money doesn't always win. That's something to keep in mind and keep working hard.
There you go. Congressman Adam Smith of the great state of Washington. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today.
Thanks for the chance. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And people can check out the president's website at barackobama.com. We'll be right back.